I'm Michael Kavarninsky, a family doctor who's practiced in the Pacific Northwest for 50 years, in Smithers for 25 of those years, and have lived here for all those 50 years. I've noticed a constant deterioration in the air quality in this area, specifically now. It's a bit more personal to me since I developed asthma, and it fluctuates very closely with the burning of the slash in the late fall and often during the winter. It necessitates me to use different medications to keep myself able to be active, and the asthma clears up as soon as I go into the high country, not in the valley, very noticeably.
And Michael, you talked about winter smoke. That's not necessarily from slash burning. What would that be from?
Well, there is smoke that's coming from the mills, the pellet plants, the one in Houston and the one in Smithers. My asthma and that of other people seems to be more noticeable now since the pellet plant opened. We don't have that much wood smoke where I live, so I can't be explained upon that. So that's the only thing I can see that's causing that effect, actually a cause and effect event.
We're here in a recently logged block, EM 807 by Canfor. It was targeted. It was an old growth deferral area. In fact, it was a big treed old growth deferral area. And we're just taking some photos and touring the block. Our trees here are roughly, the bigger trees are all around 200 plus years old. And even then the forest stand was older than that, because we're seeing tight growth rings in the center of these large trees, which tells us that there was a overtopping canopy when those trees were younger. So the forest here has been fire free for centuries. And now it's been logged off, even though it was marked as a deferral area. We have no signs of evidence of fur bearers such as weasel or ermine or marten here in the block. But once you get into the forest here, there's lots of subnivean habitat with logs going underneath the snow for them to hunt. And we get a proliferation of those fur bearers. But we take the habitat away when we actually clear cut this landscape. There may be some future opportunity for habitat structure, like behind me with the debris piles, but if they're not targeted for burning, which is mostly what'll happen, is just that they'll burn them off. But if they actually leave some of these, then at least we got some structure left near the edge of the forest. But that generally is not the case. They're usually just burnt to make room for more plantable sites. So we're basically seeing a conversion of our last primary forest here in British Columbia into rotational tree plantations. So we're in the same block here, EM 807. So the logs that came off this block went to the sawmill out of region, and some of the grade 4 went to the pellet plant. So we're logging big treed old growth with a fairly substantial percentage of the wood actually going to the pellet plant, because we're talking about old trees with a lot of structural diversity and, center rot, typical attributes associated with old trees. And you can see that as a result of clear cutting this kind of forest, we get massive amount of slash they consider waste wood, because it's not suitable for either saw log. And there's no pulp logs that are going to other mills from here, because there are no pulp mills operating here. The closest one's in Prince George. And I believe anything on the west side of Babine Lake in terms of pulpwood quality is not going to pulp mills. So we get a lot of waste wood here that could otherwise be utilized and best left standing. Nothing stops us from logging these forests partially, maintaining the canopy, and only taking a percentage of the volume out, as opposed to clear cutting this and having all this waste and destruction and loss of habitat. And it's basically a timber grab of our last primary old growth forest, and in part for wood pellets.
So we're here waiting at the little barge terminal to cross Bean Lake after we've gone to see the old growth that's being logged. And this is a logging truck that is full of logs that originated in old growth. And the driver has explained to us that some of them are going to the pellet mill, Drax pellet mill, and some of them are going to pulp. But these are all considered low quality logs, and that is why they are considered only fit for either being pelletized or being pulped. However, they all originated in old